Most growers believe productivity is something you force. You add more, adjust more, intervene more, and expect the system to respond in proportion. When that doesn't happen, frustration sets in. The common conclusion is that something must be missing, some nutrient, some technique, some secret input that everyone else seems to know. But the truth is far less exciting and far more powerful. Yield does not increase because you push harder. It increases when the system underneath the plant stops working against you. From the outside, plants look like the main actors in food production. They grow, they flower, they fruit. When something goes wrong, the symptoms appear on the leaves or stems. So that's where attention goes. Yellowing, slow growth, poor production, all of it shows up above ground. But those symptoms are not the problem, they are the message. The real decision-making happens below the surface, where most people rarely look and even more rarely understand what they're seeing. Soil is often treated as a container, something that holds roots and keeps plants upright. In reality, soil is an active system that controls almost everything about how a plant grows. It regulates water availability, oxygen exchange, nutrient timing, biological activity, and root expansion. When soil is healthy, plants access what they need gradually and efficiently. When soil is degraded or imbalanced, plants are forced into survival mode, no matter how much you feed them directly. One of the biggest misconceptions in modern growing is the idea that fertilizer equals food. Fertilizer is not food in the biological sense. It is raw material. Plants cannot use most nutrients unless the soil environment allows it. Nutrients must be in the right form, at the right time, in the right concentration, and delivered through a functioning root system. When any of these conditions are missing, nutrients become either unavailable or harmful. This is why adding more often produces weaker results instead of stronger ones. Many growers experience a brief improvement after feeding plants directly. Growth speeds up, leaves darken, and things look better for a short time. This creates the illusion that the solution is working. But beneath the surface, the system becomes more dependent and less resilient. Roots remain shallow. Soil structure continues to degrade. Biological activity declines. Over time, the plant requires constant correction to maintain even average performance. Yields plateau not because the plant lacks potential, but because the system cannot support it. When soil biology is ignored, nutrients behave unpredictably. Some are released too quickly, causing stress. Others become locked away, creating deficiencies even when levels appear sufficient. Microorganisms act as translators between soil and plant. They convert raw materials into plant-available forms, regulate nutrient flow, and create stability. Without them, plants rely entirely on artificial timing and perfect conditions, which rarely exist in real environments. Another factor that limits yield is soil structure. Compacted or poorly aggregated soil restricts root growth, reduces oxygen availability, and disrupts water movement. Roots growing in restricted conditions cannot explore enough space to support high production. This limitation cannot be fixed by feeding the plant. It can only be resolved by improving the environment roots grow in. Until that happens, yield potential remains capped. Water management is also controlled by soil, not plants. Soil determines how water infiltrates, how long it is retained, and how evenly it is distributed. In poorly functioning soil, water either drains too quickly or remains stagnant. Both conditions stress plants and reduce efficiency. Feeding plants in these conditions is like trying to fill a leaking container. The problem isn't the amount of water added, it's the container itself. When growers focus exclusively on plants, they enter a reactive cycle. Each symptom triggers a response. Each response creates new imbalances. Over time, the system becomes fragile. Small changes in weather or timing cause large drops in performance. This fragility is often mistaken for sensitivity of the plant, when in reality it is a symptom of an unsupported system. Soil-focused systems behave differently. They absorb change, they buffer extremes, they continue functioning even when conditions are not ideal. This stability allows plants to allocate energy toward growth and reproduction instead of constant stress response. Productivity increases not because plants are pushed harder, but because they are allowed to operate efficiently. Doubling yields does not happen overnight, and it does not happen by adding a single input. It happens when multiple limiting factors are removed at the system level. Root access improves, nutrient timing stabilizes, water becomes more predictable, biology becomes active. Each improvement compounds the next. The result is not explosive growth, but consistent, repeatable gains. One reason many people never reach this stage is impatience. Plant feeding provides fast visual feedback. Soil improvement does not. It works quietly, gradually, often invisibly, but its effects are deeper and longer lasting. Systems built around soil continue to improve even when attention shifts elsewhere. Systems built around constant correction collapse as soon as intervention stops. Another overlooked aspect is energy efficiency. Plants operating in healthy soil require less energy to acquire nutrients and water. This energy can then be redirected toward yield. In stress systems, plants spend most of their energy simply surviving. No amount of feeding changes this equation. Energy spent coping with poor conditions is energy not spent producing. Many growers confuse intensity with effectiveness. They assume that more effort equals better results. In reality, the most productive systems are often the least intensive. They rely on balance, not force. They work with biological processes instead of trying to override them. This approach feels counterintuitive in a culture that values constant action, but it consistently produces better outcomes. The phrase, "don't feed the plant," does not mean neglect. It means understanding sequence and priority. Feeding the plant should be the final adjustment, not the foundation. When the foundation is weak, every adjustment becomes temporary. When the foundation is strong, adjustments become minimal. Yield potential is set long before harvest. It is determined by root development, nutrient cycling, and environmental stability. These factors are established early and maintained by soil function. Once the growing season is underway, it is often too late to correct foundational issues through surface feeding. This is why many interventions fail, despite good intentions. Systems thinking changes how decisions are made. Instead of asking what to add, you ask what is limiting. Instead of reacting to symptoms, you look for patterns. Instead of chasing products, you build capacity. This shift reduces cost, stress, and unpredictability. It also creates a clearer path toward improvement. Doubling yields is not a promise. It is a possibility that emerges when systems are aligned. Some environments allow for it, others do not. But in every case, focusing on soil increases efficiency and resilience. Even when yields do not double immediately, stability improves, losses decrease, effort becomes more effective. Many experienced growers reach a point where they stop chasing dramatic gains and start valuing consistency. They understand that a system that produces reliably year after year is more valuable than one that spikes occasionally and collapses the next season. Soil-focused management supports this long-term perspective. If you've been feeding plants and seeing limited improvement, the problem is not that you're doing nothing. It's that your effort is concentrated in the wrong place. Shifting focus does not mean starting over. It means redirecting attention toward the processes that actually control productivity. This approach requires observation more than action. It requires patience more than intensity, and it rewards those who think in terms of systems rather than symptoms. Over time, results speak for themselves. Growth becomes steadier, inputs become more efficient, and productivity increases without constant struggle. If this perspective changed how you think about growing, consider subscribing to the channel. The goal here is not quick fixes, but understanding. If you know someone who keeps adding more and getting less, share this video with them. Sometimes the biggest improvement comes not from feeding more, but from feeding the right thing.